After playing the Arc Raiders tech test, I walked away thinking just one thing. Yo, this game feels done. I mean, seriously, you got solid gameplay, a beautiful crafting system, a nice UI, an immersive overall gameplay loop, incredible audio, and to be honest, from a performance standpoint, I may have had one or two hiccups at most. So here's the real question. Why haven't we received a release date just yet? Today I wanted to dive in what could be going on behind the scenes at Embark Studios and why Arc Raiders may be closer to release than we think, or why Embark Studios may be still holding the game back. Let's break it down a bit. Now, as I just mentioned, that second tech test felt like the game was completely done. From the maps being fully fleshed out to the overall gameplay loop, the UI, all that stuff, like the game felt done. Even systems in play that I didn't think I would like crafting, as I've talked about in 20,000 videos up to this point. Right off the bat, they found a way to make it feel worthwhile and meaningful in the gameplay loop. I personally didn't even run into bugs, and from the bugs that I seen online, they were just kind of like some clipping issues here and there. So literally across the board, the game looked like it was more polished than 95% of games that have released over the last few years. So the real question is, why not just drop it right now, yo? Well, some people are thinking that Embark might actually be on that type of time, and they think that there could be a shadow drop that will take place during the Summer Games Fest that will be happening on June 6th. And although Embark Studios doesn't have this rich history of shadow dropping games, they only have one other title up under them, which is the finals, they did decide to stealth drop the finals after the trailer released at the Game Awards back in 2023. So wouldn't it be nice to all of us for them to debut some awesome trailer at the Summer Games Fest, and then afterwards they say available now, and you can go into Steam or the PlayStation Store or the Xbox Store and purchase it and hit download? That would be incredible, you know? I was really sipping that Kool-Aid, well, until the Nexon financial report came out. Is it a financial report? The latest update report thingy, whatever it is. Is it a financial report? I don't know. Some update from Nexon leaked out to us all. And that messaging kind of painted a different picture, at least from my opinion. This did confirm things such as Arc Raiders absolutely blew their expectations out of the water with things like their overall YouTube views. I think they were aiming to accumulate 5,000 views, and they were actually able to accumulate over 20 million. Did I say 5,000 or did I say 5 million? I can't remember, but they were aiming for 5 million and actually accrued over 20 million, which is dope. They were able to reach the 6th most viewed spot on Twitch at their peak, and let's be honest, if Expedition 33 didn't release, they would have been in the top 5, which is absolutely incredible for a game that nobody was talking about a week before the tech test released. And then also too, I believe the wish listing on Steam has exceeded their expectations by over 50%. So all in all, huge W's across the board. And I'm gonna be honest, Embark, you all deserve that, because what we got to experience was incredible. And honestly, I expect nothing less, having played the finals over the last few years. Oh my gosh. By the way, you all may have heard my dogs barking. They heard the neighbor's dogs going off, so they decided to join as dad is recording. Awesome. Whatever. Just ignore it. Anyways, getting back on track here, I feel like there was a catch, and the catch was actually in some of the wording that followed. They specifically stated in this report, and I'm going to read it verbatim, that the team is now working to integrate player feedback and polish the game ahead of a launch. Now, to me, I could be reading into this way too deep, but that doesn't quite sound like a game that is going to stealth drop here in a few weeks. That sounds like a game that is in the process of moving into that open beta stage, you know what I mean? Since Embark Studios is a bit of a smaller studio, obviously it's not a gargantuan Activision or anything like that. This development team is a bit smaller, right? So who knows what they plan on integrating based off of feedback, and who knows how long it will take them to actually integrate those things, play test those things in-house to make sure they aren't breaking anything by adding some of those things into the mix. And again, no idea what the feedback is that they're going to implement, but who knows how long that may take to implement, to actually play test into green light, you know? And then also the polishing side of things. We are unsure what all needs to be polished. At least on the PC side, everything felt fairly optimized. I had some minor hitching here and there, nothing big. I would safely assume that the polishing is going to take place more so on the console variants, because they're going to have to submit builds to Sony and to Microsoft. And Sony and Microsoft, I believe, and I could be wrong here, but I believe they do almost like their own play testing before they give it their stamp of approval, and they actually will allow the game to be sold in their respective stores. So just rough estimation, by them bringing in feedback, by them polishing things, like that doesn't, again, sound like something that is going to be able to get done over the course of the next few weeks. Like today is what, May 14th? Summer Games Fest is going to be June 6th. That's literally, oh gosh, I'm terrible at math. That's like 3 weeks from now. Like, I don't think that's all going to happen in 3 weeks. Maybe 3 months, maybe 4 months, right? Like, I can see that, but again, getting our hopes up for a stealth release in the next few weeks, I think that is setting ourselves up for failure. Now, something that could be released at the Summer Games Fest is like a closed or maybe even an open beta, right? Like we roll right into an open beta, or we get the open beta dates. I think that would be absolutely incredible. Again, we don't know the state that we played the tech test in. Like we have no idea, but I could safely assume that was like the closed beta stage. Like it has to be, right? It has to be. So for them to move right into an open beta, or for them to announce the open beta dates, especially while the iron is hot, because yo, everywhere you look, Reddit, Twitter, I mean, even Facebook, yo, people are salivating, just waiting to either jump back into Arc Raiders, or remember, there's still people that never even had the chance to play Arc Raiders yet, that all they got to do was watch YouTube videos or watch their favorite streamers play the game, and they're salivating to get in. So yo, could you imagine open beta live now for the next 3 days or 7 days or for the next weekend, whatever the case may be, and people get to sink their teeth back into Arc Raiders? Yo, man, that'll be beautiful. Mad beautiful. And then on top of that all, something else that just jumped in my mind, they can acquire even more feedback, right? And I would say feedback from people that may be more so in the realm of casuals, right? Not us sweat lords that went crazy to go register for the next tech test, or, you know, we were able to get a code from a streamer or something like that. Those are like diehard individuals, people that game on a day-to-day basis, right? But the casual individual that just got home, they went into the PlayStation store and seen that this random game was running a beta, so they wanted to test it out, right? That individual could give feedback, and this still gives them ample time to implement that feedback before what I would safely assume would be like a fall or holiday season release. And as much as it breaks my heart, I'm okay with them not rushing. I am. That just means that they are treating this as their baby, and they are doing everything they can to not mess this up, to further polish things. And hey, look, I can't be mad at that, yo. I can't be. Now, I kind of want to talk about why I believe there is no concrete release date at this moment in time. And I want to go beyond just integrating player feedback and polishing the game. I want to talk about some things that could possibly be going on behind the scenes. The first thing I have to touch on is the backend infrastructure. A tech test with 10 to 15,000 concurrent PC players, and I know we don't have the numbers for console, so let's just roughly estimate an additional 10 to 15,000 console players. So a tech test with 25 to 30,000 people does not guarantee readiness for a launch, especially when we're talking about a global launch, you know? We're talking about 20 to 30,000 concurrent players from various platforms to 300 to 400,000 concurrent players from all different platforms, you know? And it could be a lot more, right? This game is snowballing hype in the PC communities, the console communities, you name it. Like, this game has all the hype in the world. So who knows? We could be talking about over 500,000 concurrent players, right? And I'm not just talking about people jumping in to play for 2 minutes and jumping off. No, I'm talking about people probably calling off of work. I know I'm a call off of work, right? To be able to grind Arc Raiders day in and day out. That's a lot of potential stress on some servers. So Embark might be doing what they can to reinforce things there, just to make sure their servers can stay stable and hold up once all of us lunatics jumps into Arc Raiders for the first time. Well, not the first time, but the full game for the first time, you know? Something else that I believe they are working on behind the scenes, and this is something that's really, really important, because if you don't nail this, you're gonna rub people the wrong way. So take as much time as you need to nail this the right way. And that is monetization, and how they're going to fully implement those monetization systems in the game. Now, at first glance, when you look at like the battle pass as an example, it seems pretty consumer friendly, because if it's anything like Helldivers, once you purchase it, it won't go away. So the end of a season or a wipe or anything like that will not remove that battle pass. You can clear it at your leisure, which is really player friendly, and it's awesome, you know? At the same time, parent company Nexon likes to get the bread, and they have a track record and a history of monetizing out the wazoo. Now, the saving grace here may be the fact that Embark Studios tends to price things pretty fair in the finals. Like if you go on the finals, you can spend 20 to 30 bucks, get some really good skins, buy the battle pass, be able to get multi-bucks, which is, I think it's multi-bucks. Is that the premium currency in that game? You can get that back from the battle pass. The skins you can customize however you want, right? You can take the headpiece from one skin, gloves from another skin, the upper body wear from another skin, the lower body wear from another skin, the shoes from another skin, right? So you can mix and match however you see fit, which to me is super dope. So if you buy 3 skins, you technically have like 3,000 skins because of all the combinations you can make. So finding a way to make every single dollar you spend on microtransactions count in a game like Arc Raiders, I think would be really important for them to nail. Quick little sidebar too, they need to be careful because they're going down a slippery slope. If they honor the battle pass system that was in this tech test, that may not be the best look because there is actual gear in that battle pass, and not just regular gear. I'm talking purple gear, right? Gear of high quality that if you cash out, you can have access to much earlier than you probably should. Next thing you know, you go into a raid at the beginning of a season with a purple shield, and yeah, that is a severe disadvantage, and it almost becomes pay to win there. So Embark, please keep skins to, not skins, but keep battle passes to skins, premium currency, and you may just have to get creative on the other stuff there. Another reason I believe we don't have a concrete release date, and I kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier, but I think Embark has to get the console launch logistics taken care of there. As of right now, to my knowledge, the goal is to release everywhere simultaneously. To be on PC, to be on Xbox, and to be on PlayStation, like at the snap of a finger, all collectively. As I mentioned earlier, Sony and Microsoft, they have to go through their own certification process and actually test the builds to make sure that they aren't just selling foolery to their consumers. I did hear with the tech test that some people that were playing on console did run into some crashing issues. In fact, one individual mentioned that after every run that he completed, his game crashed and he had to reboot, and that was really annoying. Sony is going to say, nah, that can't happen. Y'all need to go and fix this and then submit it again for recertification. And I don't know how long the certification process takes once a new build is submitted. It could take a week, 2 weeks, a month, who knows, right? And that would really put a damper on like a release window if they gave us a release date already. You know, something else I just thought about, and this is like an additional reason why I think we don't have a release date just yet, but I just thought about this. Timing in the market is going to be mad important. Like, think about a release window here, you know? Let's think about the fall, you know, October, November. That time can be a little bit tricky because the annual Call of Duty typically comes out around then. And I know we probably aren't Call of Duty people, or if you're watching this video, you're probably like, who cares about Call of Duty? Believe it or not, a lot of people do. And when I say a lot of people, I mean a lot of people do, especially casuals. Like, I have a good friend who is a super casual gamer. He buys every Call of Duty every year, and he spends that entire month or that following month grinding out camos every year. It never fails, right? So if we anecdotally use him as like the casual reference point, right? Let's say the next Call of Duty releases on October 30th. Then throughout the entire month of November, majority of the casuals are going to be playing Call of Duty, right? Arc Raiders may not want to launch in that window, even though we know it is a beloved product, right? You and I know that because we got to play the tech test and the beta, whatever. That average Joe who just, not average Joe, but that casual who just jumps into the PlayStation store or the Microsoft store when they get home to see when new games released, they're not going to do that because they're going to be spending their time on Call of Duty. And guess what? They only got an hour and a half a day to play a game. They're just going to play Call of Duty. They're not even going to look in the store and find Arc Raiders and fall in love with it, right? So Arc Raiders has to be really meticulous about this, and they have to really use their brain and figure out, okay, when do we want to launch? And I think the whole GTA 6 fear is kind of out the window. We know that it will probably come sometime in May. I think they actually gave us a date, right? Like towards the end of May, 2026. But that date isn't even concrete from what I'm hearing, right? So they ain't got to worry about GTA, right? Really, they just have to combat Call of Duty and maybe Battlefield, right? Like, you just don't want to launch as a smaller development studio or a smaller development team. You just don't want to launch such a beautiful product in that kerfuffle, you know, Call of Duty and Battlefield, and they're trying to one up each other. Meanwhile, Arc Raiders is right here like, hey man, y'all remember me, right? And people aren't even paying it any mind because the casuals don't even take the time to glance at Arc Raiders, right? So again, timing there is going to be really, really important, and that's probably another reason why we don't have a date just yet. And folks, that's my take overall. Those few things are exactly why I think we don't have a date just yet, and I'm kind of coming to terms with that. I wish we had a date so I can count down the days, but Embark, I get it. I'm gonna let y'all cook. I'm gonna let y'all game plan accordingly because look, y'all figured it out so far. Hey, look, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm gonna keep trusting y'all. But my beautiful people that are watching this, what do you all think? Do you all think we're gonna get a release date soon, an open beta soon, any update soon? Let me know down in the comments. And until next time, it's been your boy. I'm signing off. I love you all, and thank you all so much for coming and watching, if I didn't say that already. But until next time, we signing out.